Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our podcast. I'm Ella, and today we're going to talk about something that many of you might relate to. You can understand English, but you can't speak it. Does that sound familiar to you? Well, don't worry. Today, Eric and I will discuss why this happens and how you can improve your speaking skills. Hey, Eric, how are you today?
Hi, Ella. I'm doing great, thanks. I'm really excited about today's topic. I know so many people who understand English perfectly when they listen or read, but when they try to speak, it's like their mind goes blank.
Yes, I've heard that a lot too. It's very common. Many learners can understand English movies, songs, and conversations, but they freeze when it's their turn to talk. It's frustrating, but it's also something we can fix.
Exactly. It's normal to feel this way, but the good news is, with practice, you can definitely improve. Today, we'll talk about why this happens and what you can do to become more confident in speaking English.
So let's start with the big question. Why is speaking in English so hard even when you can understand it? Eric, what do you think is the biggest reason?
I think the main reason is fear. People are afraid to make mistakes when they speak. They think others will laugh at them or judge them for not speaking perfectly.
Yes, that's a big one. Fear can really hold people back, but here's the truth. Everyone makes mistakes when learning a new language. It's part of the process.
Exactly. No one speaks perfectly when they are just starting. Even native speakers make mistakes. The important thing is to communicate, not to be perfect.
Right. Another reason people struggle with speaking is that they don't practice enough. You might listen to a lot of English, but if you don't practice speaking, your brain doesn't get used to forming the words.
Yes, listening and understanding is one skill and speaking is another. You need to practice both to get better. If you only listen, you might understand what others say, but speaking requires practice too.
Exactly. Speaking is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. If you don't practice speaking, it stays weak, even if you understand everything.
So let's talk about how to start practicing speaking. What's the first thing you'd suggest, Ella?
The first thing I'd say is, don't be afraid to talk to yourself in English. This is something you can do anywhere and anytime. Describe what you're doing or how you're feeling. For example, if you're making breakfast, you can say, I am making eggs. Now I'm adding salt. Next, I will cook them on the stove. It may sound simple, but it really helps.
That's a great tip. Talking to yourself might feel a little strange at first, but it's a great way to get comfortable forming sentences without any pressure.
Exactly. And because you're alone, there's no one to judge you. You can practice as much as you want. What's another good way to practice, Eric?
Another tip is shadowing. This means listening to a native speaker and repeating what they say, almost like you're their shadow. You can do this with podcasts, YouTube videos, or even your favorite TV shows.
Yes. Shadowing helps you practice pronunciation and sentence structure. You're basically copying what you hear, and over time it makes speaking feel more natural.
Exactly. And don't worry if you can't keep up at first. It's okay to pause and rewind. The more you do it, the better you'll get. Plus, it helps you get used to the rhythm and speed of natural English conversations.
Now let's talk about something important, grammar. A lot of people worry about grammar when they speak. They think, what if I use the wrong tense? Or, what if my sentence isn't perfect? What do you think about this, Eric?
Honestly, I think when you're speaking, you shouldn't worry too much about grammar. The most important thing is to communicate. If you focus too much on getting every word perfect, you might not say anything at all.
That's so true. Grammar is important, but fluency is more important when you're having a conversation. You can always fix small mistakes later. Right now, the goal is to keep talking.
Exactly. Think about how kids learn to speak. They don't worry about grammar. They just say what's on their mind, and over time, their sentences get better.
Yes, so don't let grammar stop you from speaking. The more you practice, the better your grammar will get naturally. But it's okay if your sentences aren't perfect at first.
Another great way to practice is to find a speaking partner. This could be a friend who's learning English or even a native speaker who wants to help.
Yes, having someone to talk to is so helpful. You can practice real conversations, ask questions, and get feedback. If you don't know anyone in person, you can join online language exchange groups.
Exactly. There are many apps and websites where you can find people who want to practice English with you. It's a great way to connect with others and practice in a fun, relaxed way.
And remember, your speaking partner doesn't have to be a teacher or native speaker. Even talking to another English learner can be very helpful.
Yes, you can both learn from each other and improve together. The key is to keep practicing regularly.
Here's another tip that might feel a little uncomfortable at first. Record yourself speaking. You can use your phone to record a short conversation, or even just talk about your day.
That's a really useful tip. When you listen to the recording, you can hear your mistakes and see where you can improve. Plus, over time, you'll notice how much better you're getting.
Exactly, it's like seeing your progress. You might feel nervous at first, but the more you record yourself, the easier it gets. And it's a great way to practice pronunciation.
And don't be too hard on yourself when you listen. Focus on the good parts too, like the words you said correctly or the sentences you made easily.
Now let's talk about confidence. Even with practice, some people feel shy or nervous when they speak. Eric, what advice do you have for building confidence?
I think the first step is to start small. Don't try to have long, complicated conversations at first. Start with simple topics like introducing yourself or talking about your hobbies. This will help you feel more comfortable.
That's a great idea. Short, simple conversations are a good way to build your confidence slowly. As you get more comfortable, you can move on to more difficult topics.
Also, remember that most people are kind and understanding. They won't laugh at you or judge you if you make a mistake. They'll appreciate that you're trying.
Yes. Most people will be happy to help and they'll respect that you're learning a new language. Don't be afraid to try even if you feel nervous.
And finally, be patient with yourself. Learning to speak a new language takes time. You won't be fluent overnight, but every time you practice, you're getting better.
Exactly. Confidence comes with practice, so the more you speak, the more comfortable you'll feel. Just keep going and don't give up. So if you understand English but feel like you can't speak, don't worry. This is completely normal. The important thing to remember is that speaking a new language takes time and patience. It's not something that happens overnight.
Exactly. And the first step is to start small. Even if you're just saying a few words at first, it's progress. Don't expect perfection from the beginning. Learning to speak English is a journey, and every little step counts.
Yes, and don't compare yourself to others. Everyone learns at their own pace. Some people might speak faster than you, but that doesn't mean you're not improving. Focus on your own progress and celebrate the small victories, like speaking a new word or finishing a sentence.
That's so true. And another thing, don't let fear stop you. It's okay to feel nervous when you're speaking English. We all make mistakes, but mistakes are a part of learning. Every time you try to speak, even if it's not perfect, you're getting better.
Right. The more you practice, the more confident you'll feel. And remember, people aren't expecting you to speak perfectly. Most people will appreciate that you're trying, and they'll be patient with you. In fact, they'll probably admire your effort to learn a new language.
Definitely. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it either. If you're talking to someone and you can't find the right word, just ask. Most people will be happy to help you find the right word or explain something if you're stuck.
Yes, don't be afraid to speak up. Whether you're asking for help, joining a conversation, or just practicing on your own, every bit of speaking practice helps you get closer to fluency, and you'll be surprised at how much people are willing to support you.
And remember to make learning fun. If you're too stressed, it can make speaking harder. Find ways to enjoy speaking English, whether that's talking to friends, practicing with a language app, or even singing along to your favorite English songs.
Yes, when you enjoy the process, it feels less like hard work and more like a fun challenge. Don't take yourself too seriously. Laugh at your mistakes, learn from them, and move on. The most important thing is to keep going, no matter what.
Exactly. Don't give up, even if it feels difficult. The more you practice, the better you'll get. Speaking English fluently is possible for everyone. You just have to keep practicing and stay patient with yourself.
And always remember, speaking is a skill that grows with time and practice. If you keep using the tips we discussed today, like talking to yourself, finding a speaking partner, shadowing native speakers, and recording yourself, you'll see improvement. step by step.
Yes, and don't forget to focus on fluency rather than perfection. Fluency means being able to communicate your ideas smoothly, even if you make some mistakes. Perfection comes with time, but fluency can be achieved through regular practice.
Exactly. We're so happy that you joined us for this episode. We hope these tips and suggestions help you feel more confident in speaking English. Just remember, the more you speak, the better you'll become.
Yes, don't be discouraged if you're not speaking perfectly right away. It's all part of the process. The key is to stay motivated, practice regularly, and most importantly, have fun with it.
And we're here to help you on this journey. Keep practicing, keep learning, and soon you'll notice the progress you've made. Thanks so much for listening today.
Yes, thank you for joining us. We really hope this episode encourages you to start speaking English more confidently, no matter where you are in your learning journey.
And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more tips on learning English. We'll be back soon with more episodes to help you improve. And if you have any questions or suggestions for future topics, leave a comment or send us a message. We'd love to hear from you.
Until next time, keep practicing, stay confident, and don't be afraid to speak English. You've got this.
Take care, everyone, and see you in the next episode. Bye for now!